News, and I am live. You know, I have to talk to you guys about this card breakdown by breakdown, and we got to get to it. Jay, number one king in the building. Numero rey en la casa. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Counterpunch to you. Lots happening in the sport of boxing that I want to talk about, touch on, but we have to talk about the fight that a lot of people are not really talking about because life goes on after boxing. You know, I know it's the biggest fight of the year. We have Canelo Alvarez being challenged by Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, of course, has never been defeated. He's always found a way to win. Lately, okay, his last performance, it was mediocre, okay? Bill Knows Boxing, what's up, champ? Counterpunch to you. Mama Lou, counterpunch to you. Hello there, with the waving emojis. Yeah, everybody, keep it cordial in the building. When you come in, hit that like button. We're talking about Crawford. Crawford, he hasn't really showed us a lot in the Madrimal fight. And a lot of people were like, you know what the hell? What chance in hell do you have for going up 2 weight classes from the weight class that you didn't look good in at 154? And taking on Canelo Alvarez, which I'd say this. It seemed like a losing battle, but the silver lining was the last challenge of Canelo Alvarez. A guy that was a mover, a guy that claimed that Turki Al-Sheikh made him not fight as hard, made him dance around, move a lot, unengaged, right? So I think because Canelo didn't show us a lot, because the performance was, right? He didn't show us a lot, right? So people start looking like, well, wait, what's going on with Canelo? Will Canelo turn up against Crawford? Will Crawford turn up against Canelo? You know? Cloud22, hello from India. How do you feel about Joshua versus Jake Paul? I think that should be Anthony Joshua's fight after he fights. I think after he's done every legitimate challenged fight, I think he should fight Jake Paul for the cash. I don't think he should fight Jake Paul at all, but it looked like it's going to happen. And me, personally, I just think Turki Al-Sheikh is setting up Jake Paul. You know what I mean? He's trying to teach Jake Paul there's levels to this. The Mike Tyson incident was disrespectful to a lot of people. A lot of people didn't like that. Mike lost some steam, but people need to understand, Mike Tyson's going to be Mike Tyson. Mike did it for the money. Quan Big Guns, what's up, brother? Salute. Counterpunch to you. AJ should have done that after he retired. I mean, I think he will. Because, I mean, I think that's just a fight that people, you know, they're throwing it out there to get people accustomed to the idea. They want to see where and what people think about Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul. I mean, it's laughable, though, really. I mean, you go from fighting Tyson to Jake Paul. That's crazy. Tyson, at 58 years of age, to fighting Anthony Joshua, age 35. Or at that time, he'll probably be close to 36. Because he'll be 36 this year. What if AJ does Mike Tyson? What if AJ does what Mike Tyson did and doesn't knock him out to protect Paul? That's worse. That means Jake Paul will still be a stain in the sport of boxing. And then someone will have to just come in and be the savior of it. But at that point, boxing will lose some respect. Because that means somebody from the YouTube world that's padded with cash can come in and corrupt the integrity of boxing and boxers. That's what that means. Alex, hello. Counterpunch to you. Skrilla 50 in the building. Counterpunch to you. P, greeting from Sweden. Sweden in the house. Counterpunch to you. Fanon in court, you gotta watch what you say nowadays. Avatar Dillian. Yeah, I mean, you do. I think that, that should have happened before. I think some people should have went to court a long time ago, and then some just got off scot-free. And then it's funny about court. I've had my own issues, legal battles with YouTube. And it's real, people. It's real. People will take you to court. People will, hit you up. Representation of that person will send you letters or give you a friendly call and say, hey, you got to stop doing what you're doing. You got to stop saying what you're saying. You know what I mean? They will do that. Freedom of speech, yeah. Yeah, right. But I mean, I think though, with Fanon had it coming. I mean, you're calling somebody a cheater. That's affecting his brand, his integrity, his skill set. It's disrespecting a lot of things. Okay, so he should be there in my opinion. I mean, you don't say things like that about people, and you don't have proof. So the idiot thinks, oh well, he has to prove that I'm not telling the truth, bro. That's the problem. You have to prove that he's on, or what he's done. You have to prove that he's done it, not to be sued. As long as you can't prove it, you can be sued because you can't prove it, but you're saying that he's doing it. You know what I mean? I think he I don't know, something's wrong with that guy. But anyway, do they hate Yarde that much to feed him with those beasts? Drillek Bins. No, I think what's happening, it's a perfect matchup. Anthony Yarde has been beaten by two of the best. You know what I mean? If you think about it, he's been in there with some guys that really rattled his cage. He's been in there with the Russian Bear. And I'm not talking about Arslan Bekmambetov. I'm talking about Beterbiev. I think Beterbiev is more like a Wolverine. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't stop. I mean, that's why I know, though, he has numbered days. We've seen a dip in Arturo Beterbiev. As much as I hate to say it, because I love the way he fights. I love his attacking style. I love how he gets shit done. The wars that he had, the battles, should I say, he had in the war with Bivol, because I don't think that's over. I do think, though, they're waiting it out. I think that Beterbiev, it's not going to be a undefeated fight or undisputed fight. So I think he should just move on. I think that Beterbiev should fight David Benavidez, and I do see that coming amongst the horizon. And I think because of the age, I think it's a safe bet to fight Arturo now. You know what I mean? I think that's what their plans are. I think that's the Al Haymon way. You have to wait fighters out. Don't fight them when they're alive and well. Because if you do that, you end up getting upset. And I just hope that Arturo is able to fight. I hope he's able to have the ability that he used to have just one more time. Just one more time. AJ takes the fight with Paul and teaches him a lesson he needs to understand his level. Well, I think that would separate and that will put boxing where it needs to be. See, AJ did it before, and I hope he does it again. He did it with Francis Ngannou. And Francis Ngannou is coming from another platform that is respected. It was the rival to boxing. You had MMA, then you had boxing, as far as the combat world, right? Then YouTube was somewhere lingering, but people were paying attention. People were paying attention to, they were paying attention to Jake Paul. Because Jake Paul had his own platform. He had his own audience, should I say. He was using our platform. After we seen Fury versus Ngannou and Paul versus Tyson, we can't say AJ versus Paul would affect AJ's integrity. Jake deserves to get smashed. I think if Francis Ngannou got knocked spark out, so should Jake Paul. You know what I mean? I think he should, and I think he should want to go out on a shield. He should know what it's like to knock somebody's spark out if he's knocked people's spark out. If Jake Paul has knocked out guys like Tyron Woodley, he should want to know what it's like to get knocked out by a beast, by a former champion. AJ should knock him spark out. Boom! I mean, straight right, left hook all day. Uppercut, why not? He should be able to get what everybody else has gotten. This is boxing, man. You don't, one wrong feint, bob, weave, slip, one move, one false move, and you'll get chinned. Yeah. 1 to 6 rounds is dangerous fight for Benavidez because Yarde, strong boxer and good puncher. Well, I will say this. I don't think that Anthony Yarde's a cherry pick. I think he's a step up because Anthony Yarde is a guy that he was on Talk Sports the other day. And that's a video that I haven't even put out yet. But he's actually the perfect opponent for David because he's able to take shots. David is not a power puncher at 175. It should be very interesting to see what he does. David Benavidez got caught by, he got dropped by David Morel. Morel dropped him. He's getting sued. He has no evidence. Bud's cheating. Let's go to 50. Disrespecting the guy that never tested positive and praising the guy that has tested positive. That's basically the pragmatic. That is the raw truth about what's happening. And I don't understand why this is the case. The people that is absolutely right. The people that have tested positive, are the ones that are not really mentioned. But then the people that haven't tested positive, they're under suspicion. I say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. What that means is, if it doesn't apply to that fighter, why are we talking about that with that fighter? Because you see, here's the thing. When you're talking about Victor Conte, Memo Heredia, Alex Ariza, all of these are specialists, like strength and conditioning guys. That they specialize in God knows what. We all know what they specialize in, or specialized in, right? We all know what they did. They all cheated, and it's a fair assessment. I think it's something you should mention, but shouldn't harp on, because the minute the harping process begins, you start dwelling on certain subjects, that makes it that much more. That's all. You're making it bigger than it's supposed to be. And I think that's the problem. See, Fanon started because he's just been hating and blabbering, but he's having issues. You know what I mean? He's just having issues. But he was always, that guy that you were unsure about anyway. Beterbiev is one scary dude. I think Beterbiev though. Because I see David. I want to see Benavidez versus Beterbiev. Benavidez, Beterbiev. Benavidez, Beterbiev. I want to see those guys fight. I want to see those guys fight. Those two guys. I want to see them fight. Because I don't want to. Because see, here's the thing. Anthony Yarde should be a good test, but I want the true test should be from Arturo. You know, we break down this undercard, which I am going into. We do have, damn. We got David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. Then Brian Norman versus Devin Haney Jr., which is going to be a banger. I can't wait to see that fight because you guys know that's going to be a hell of a fight. Abdullah Mason versus Nokes, right? Bam Bam Rodriguez, is it? Versus F. Martinez. I don't really know them. Matias versus D. Smith. And then Arturo Beterbiev versus D. Nicholson. The Nicholson, though, I think should be someone like, you know what would be boss? You know what would be fire? Well, we've already had that, haven't we? We've already had Beterbiev versus Callum Smith. So we've already had that fight. We've seen the outcome. Beterbiev just beat him into submission. He just, you know, and he was the first person to ever stop and drop Callum Smith. Call Callum Smith the big Billy Goat because he's the oldest of the Smiths. He was the best of that flock based on his opposition, based on his performances, based on his size, his power, you know. Yeah. But no, Yarde's good. Yarde's good. This is a good card, bro. No, is it the best card? No, but it's, I give it a 92.9. Yeah. I give it a 92.9. If Matias was fighting Tio, oh, it'd be fire. If Matias was fighting Tio, it would be fire. You know, because, you know, we hear a lot from Tio, and I don't hear a lot from his dad no more. But Tio's been kind of, I guess, pushing himself to the forefront of becoming a meltdown. And a lot of people should understand something about Tio. Tio better be careful because he's letting his mouth get him in trouble. And he could be like Adrian Broner one day. Tio could be like Adrian Broner one day. You know? I mean, it's the same pattern. You know, you don't really see him in the spotlight. I think the things he does is pretty much in private, you know, or you'll see him at an event as far as boxers go, but you don't see him like at nightclubs and stuff like that, which is a good thing. But doesn't mean he's not involved in some shit that he doesn't need to, because there's something generating. There's an engine behind all that trash talk, all that crazy ass talking he's doing. There has to be something fueling it, in my opinion. So, you know, Tio better be careful, man. And then when Tio came on the scene, he was just young, bright kid with all this talent. You know what I mean? He had a lot of confidence, and he did something that people didn't think he was going to do, and he did it. End of. What has he done since then? You know what I mean? You beat was it Barossa? No, is it Barossa? He was pretty good, but you know, I think he did a little bit too much for the promotions. He was obnoxious, although to the point, like, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you, man? What's happening? Biv will not want the trilogy. I don't know, but then here's the thing. What's the significance of the trilogy to me without the belts? Because we're already dealing with a weight class that should be in the spotlight. The light heavyweight division should be in the spotlight. And I don't know why it's not. I don't know why people don't give a shit about it. You had a guy, Arturo Beterbiev, late 30s, knocking everybody out. Knocked out everyone that he's been in the ring with. Has defeated everyone that he's ever been in the ring with. To this day. Versus, you had David Benavidez, the Mexican monster. Right? You had him coming to the division, which he just came from 168. Coming to 175. You had Callum Smith at 175. You got Anthony Yarde. You got guys like Joe Smith. Sullivan Barrera, which he's kind of old and worn and torn by this point. But he was pretty fair. He was fairly good. Then you had Dimitri Bivol, and Dimitri Bivol that shut down Canelo Alvarez's reign or journey, should I say, to the cruiserweight division. Because remember, he was going to take on Martin McCauley's brother. Is it Makabu, right? He was going to take on Makabu at cruiserweight. So they were looking at Canelo bulking up to cruiserweight, but he never got there because he got shut down by Dimitri Bivol. So you had all these guys there, and all these guys fought. And because all these guys fought, it's like, okay, cool. Well, these guys are fighting, and you know, you got this mix. You have potential for a melting pot for a lot of potential good fights, and we've had them. Needless to say, we've had these fights, but then and now it's kind of like, nobody really cares. You know, what are the heavyweights doing? Ngannou would KO Jake Paul. You know what? That'll be actually a pretty good fight, because one thing about Ngannou, though, Ngannou is not all that fast. He's powerful, but he's not all that fast. He's dangerous because of his punching power, but he doesn't. His delivery is not where it should be. So, you know, Jake may have he may have a little success until he gets chinned. But if he's smart enough, he can probably avoid being chinned. And I'm thinking positive about Jake. I just see the speed is not where it should be with that. Benavidez versus Yarde, 50-50. I don't know, man. I give David Benavidez probably 55-45. It's close, but I don't know. Yarde is battle tested. Yes, he is. Yes, Yarde is battle tested. Francis is more dangerous when he's not Francis is more dangerous when he's on the motorcycle. Oh, that's wrong, bro. Stop. Yeah, you guys are wrong. Yarde, no amateur experience. No, he doesn't. You know, Yarde, though, he's a cool cat, bro. I think Yarde should really, like, after he stops boxing, he should go into, like, acting. I think he could be one of those guys, you know what I mean? Like, he has a personality, like he's a cool, mellow fellow. You know what I mean? He doesn't hate anybody. It's not all that, you know, animosity. Like, even when he met David Benavidez and they're face to face, they didn't have any bad bone in their body towards each other. It was all love, you know what I mean? And it was cool. And I think sometimes you get some of the best fights. You guys see the shirt that I'm wearing right now is the same way. You had Ward versus Gotti. They didn't have any bad blood. It was just like, hey, man, how's it going? We're going to fight, right? Cool. When they got in the ring, it was on. Yes. Beterbiev sends Benavidez to the shadow realm. Benavidez's chin is still suspect, in my opinion. Well, that's what I want to find out. I think it is. I think David Benavidez is in the right division. I just don't think that he's the best in the division. I just don't. I think at 168, he was beating people up because the weight bully thing was probably a real thing. And I think Canelo Alvarez pretty much saw that. He was like, you know what? I'm not going to fight David Benavidez and this bastard's 195 pounds. But you'll fight Berlanga at 190 or 80 something. Let that sink in. Canelo was aware of the ability that David had. Make no mistake about it. He just didn't want to let everyone know that that's the fact. That was the case. See, it's good for Berlanga to be weight or balloon up in weight, but it wasn't good for Benavidez. Think about it. It was good for Berlanga, but it wasn't good for Benavidez. You allow Berlanga to do it, to gain all that weight. But you couldn't allow David Benavidez to gain that weight, or, you know, should I say rehydrate to that weight. He didn't want to do it because if it wasn't an issue, he wouldn't have mentioned it. He's probably going to come into the ring on 190 pounds. He's going to balloon up. What else do I have? He knows has nothing. None of those other guys did either. Belonga didn't have shit for you. You gained nothing fighting Belonga. You gained nothing fighting your countryman Jaime Munguia, poor bastard. Needless to say, he joined the Reynoso gym and then got popped. Ooh, that's a bad sign. So a lot of people don't talk about that shit. See, here's the thing. Your focus point on corruption should be exactly where it's supposed to be, where the corruption is hot, not where it may be hot or, potential. No. Bivol ducked the trilogy, so why not just fight Mexican Month? Well, I think that's the point. I think if they set Dimitri Bivol, or if they selected or wanted to fight Bivol, Bivol could take back the belt that they got. Make no mistake about it. The vacation of the WBC, it was going to come because they were going to strip Dimitri Bivol. They were going to strip him. So he did the noble thing. Like, hey, you guys want it, you guys can have it. You know what I mean? I think that's what he did, and that's the route he took. Because he knew Mauricio was going to all of a sudden, after many, many situations where he didn't do anything to anybody, right? He did it to Dimitri. He did it to Dimitri because he likes the idea of David Benavidez. He likes that idea of giving it to David. David's a Mexican fighter. Mexican American. It doesn't matter to Mauricio because he fills seats. See, he knew, I want someone over here that I can endorse with my belt. That's what he wanted. He had Wilder. Then after Wilder, he had Fury. He didn't mind Joshua being the WBC because Joshua carried the money. He carried the dough. He carried the dough. He had the money. He had the 3%. So if he had the 3%, Marlon Thornell, counterpunch to you. France's UFC version, it's Hulk. Damn. But no, he didn't want that fight. It kind of defeats the purpose. Right? I agree. I want Benavidez versus Beterbiev. That would be dope. And I want it before Benavidez finds out that I want it before Beterbiev gets too old. You know what I mean? And I think that's what they're waiting on. They're waiting. Basically they're waiting for Arturo to become too old. They want that on their record. Why? Because Bivol beat him. Bivol was the only one to beat him. Okay? And because Bivol was the only one to beat Arturo, I think their strategy is, hey, let's fight Yarde, beat Yarde, and then go after Arturo. Because Arturo was also beaten by Bivol, but hey, guess what? He also beat Bivol. So guess what? Bivol beat Canelo. It's all back to Canelo. It's all some Canelo-induced shit. That's exactly what it is. James Toney would KO Beterbiev. He probably would. I mean, the way his style is, it's not good for Benavidez. Because here's the thing. Arturo is a guy, though. He's not careless. He's not careless. I think he punches hard as shit. He's a volume guy. Those Eastern European guys really fascinate me with their attack because they know how to box. They know how to box from far to inside, especially Benavidez. I mean, Arturo. I hate saying those words together. Arturo is good at hitting you close range. He's a devastating mid-range puncher. In other words, he can be from here to you and punch you within arm's length, and those punches are hurting you. They will hurt you. If you get hit with enough of them, yeah, they will put you down. Imagine all Arturo's punches that he catches you just like this. Just like that. He doesn't need leverage. He can catch you right here. He can catch you with those shots. But all those shots probably have about maybe 68, 70% power on them. So imagine an RPG game you're playing, right? I'm not even a fan of RPG, but I know how it works, right? You know, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70 down. Because he's knocking off your power as he punches you in the face. And they don't look like they're hurting, but eventually you're like, damn, this dude has hit me 8 fucking times. And these punches hurt, and they don't supposed to hurt at that range. This guy has to be strong as shit. He has to be strong as shit to be throwing these shots effortlessly. I mean, you could see he's, but it's almost like, I call them bully punches. We used to have this guy in high school. And he was a tough little dude, bro. And he wasn't tall, but he had big Popeye-ass forearms. But, I mean, he could fight his ass off. Name was Danny Wilson. Danny Wilson was beating everybody's ass. Every time Danny would fight somebody, man, Danny whooped somebody else. Man, he whooped somebody else in C-Wing. Man, you see the fight in B-Wing today? Oh, bro, you see that fight in A-Wing? Danny beat the hell out of somebody. You hear that dude bloody. Think about it, this is the 90s, we were nice and real and violent. But that's who he reminds me of. And then you seen him fight, you're like, well, damn, he's not really doing anything that you think that's too impressive. But the punches are hurtful. They're damaging. Arturo Beterbiev damages you with those mid-range shots. And he doesn't stop. And that's another thing that people overlook. You have guys like Alexander Usyk, Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev. Those guys are all very highly conditioned. And they're extremely conditioned based on the task at hand. They're over conditioned. So they're able to do things that you can't do physically because of the way that they were conditioned and the way they trained. See, what people don't understand about those cats, they're successful because they're able to, that's the trick. The trick is they train so much and they train so hard, they can outwork you. They don't have to be better than you. They can outwork you. See, sometimes people, the memo is conditioning, training, discipline. When you know that, hey, I can outrun that person. He may be faster than me, but I'm going to win the race if it's a distance race. Now, if it's a short distance, if you're doing some quarter horse shit, yeah, you're smoked. But boxing is different because if Jermaine Taylor versus Carl Froch. Jermaine Taylor was way more impressive and more talented than Carl Froch. Carl Froch was more conditioned because Carl knew I may not be faster. I may not be a better boxer. I may not even can fight better than that dude. But I know I can take what he has and I can keep going. And if there's any bitch in him or any dip in conditioning, I got him. And that's exactly what happened. Those guys, needless to say, are those guys. Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, Alexander Usyk. Bam Bam is a fun fight and an undefeated champ. Definitely always puts a performance on. Alex, Benavidez 40 versus 60. Benavidez are old but hardworking for David. Well, they need to fight. Because, I mean, what you don't want to see, you don't want to see someone fight someone else and then that someone else doesn't look like he used to look, and we all know what happened. And we all know that the waiting game worked. Okay? Waiting out fighters work. People do it all the time. Oscar De La Hoya. I think, he is a legend. Yes, he is. But understand that he didn't win every fight because he was the best. A lot of those fights were done based on marketing. Boxing is a business. Do you think if Oscar De La Hoya would have fought Julio Cesar Chavez in 1994, do you think the outcome would have been the same if he fought him in 1996? No. And I pretty much know that for a fact, and I'm going to tell you why. There is footage floating on the internet about Oscar De La Hoya versus Julio Cesar Chavez. Chavez caught De La Hoya with a left hook. De La Hoya's ass went down. Down. That's when they were sparring. But De La Hoya was younger. Sure, he was younger, but he wasn't a baby. You know what I'm saying? He was a grown-ass man having babies himself. He just couldn't handle Julio at the time. Well, you fast forward 2 years, he fights him. He got him. And then he got him just based on cuts. Second fight, same thing. Smith is fighting Yarde. No. Yarde is fighting Benavidez. Troy Graham, one thing I like about Benavidez is he's not letting any grass grow under his feet. He's fighting in good, tough competition and not waiting on an opportunity from anyone. He's creating opportunity. Troy, I think you're right for the most part. I think that, I'm glad that they have that selection. I'm glad that they selected that fighter. I'm glad because if they could have put somebody that wasn't worth the shit in front of them. They could have done that, but they didn't, which I'm glad. I'm glad they didn't. And if he keeps doing that, he'll be better. But also, he's still using Canelo's name to sell, which is great. Which is great. Deontay Wilder tried to do the same thing with AJ by fighting Tyson Fury. He just came up short. You know what I mean? Now, that could be the case here. He might have messed around and thought he could beat Yarde, and that's the beauty of it. We don't know what Yarde still has left, but he's still a young guy. Yarde's still young, but he's tested. He's experienced. He's tested. He's been hit with some of the hardest punches in the division. The Kovalev, right before Kovalev hit pay dirt. I'd rather see Matias versus Hitchens. Oh, that would be dope. Yeah, Skrilla 50. That would be a dope fight, bro. I would love that fight. Teddy, Brooks shot. DeVille, what's up? What's up, Teddy? Counterpunch to you. We got a super chat in the building. CJ Rich coming in with that Cinco. Thoughts on Benavidez appearing on the ring pound for pound list for the first time, and you still planning to take call-ins? Yes. No, we're getting it done. We're getting it done. The equipment is becoming more advanced, as you guys can see. So call-ins will be welcomed pretty soon. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. But yeah, this is going to be the status quo from now on, unless I'm somewhere else, like at the park or something like that, and those are just kind of sporadic chats. Now, they will always be around, but the standard chats, the standard lives will be just like this. The standard videos will be just like this, unless I'm driving or something, But more than likely, this is how it's going to be. Mic, locked in, linked in, ready, installed, equipment, professional. Here we go. Upgrades. Overdue, well overdue. I know. Well overdue. So, appreciate you, CJ Rich. I'd rather see Matias versus Hitchens. Oh, wait. Let's see. Why can't Jake Paul versus AJ be in the U.S.? We have bigger stadiums than Wembley in every city, town. Wembley is just the biggest stadium in the UK. I think Wembley is overrated. Quan Big Guns. I'm going to tell you why. Because regardless of how big the stadiums are, we don't have the interest here. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, I think it could do well, but doesn't mean it's tested to do well, if that makes sense. Right? Simply based off the fact that we know Wembley's going to sell because we know people are going to come based on the audience, the fans, the track record. We know people are going to show up. They're going to show up in droves. Hell, they do that when a British fighter comes over here. They show up in droves. The Brits show up and show the fuck out. I remember the energy that I felt. You can see it. You can witness it. When Floyd, Money Mayweather fought Ricky Hatton. That shit was dope. When Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz, that shit was dope. When that fight happened, those fights took place, the Brits show up. We can't say that about the fans here. Maybe in Texas. I mean, Texas could probably feel some people. Bill knows boxing coming in with that 5 pounds. Mike and Bob Arum and Roy Jones Jr. talk about Alvarez versus Bud. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. And I did see, I've seen a link where Jim Lampley and Roy, had a reunion. They worked those fights together, bro. And imagine, and that's a dream of mine, bro. Just commentating a fight front row like that. You know what I mean? Big fights, bro. That makes your damn skin, your hair stick up on your arm and the back of your neck. If AJ loses to Jake Paul, he's done. I think if AJ loses to Jake Paul, he should be already done. But yeah, he would be done. We can sell out 150 capacity stadiums here. I think Jake Paul and AJ could sell out 150K. Probably. Maybe. Where? Because, you do have stadiums of like 18,000, 20,000. Where are the biggest stadiums? Give me some names. Salute to all my freak off people. Last fight and had in America was against Andy Ruiz. Probably never wants to fight here again. I think AJ should come back. AJ, man, I don't know. He might have. I don't know. I really don't know, man. I think AJ loves America, but I think America is where I think that bothers him. Like, there's something strange about AJ in America. I don't know. Real Madrid Stadium. Okay. Dallas Cowboy Stadium is the biggest stadium in America. Is it? How many people does Dallas Stadium hold? Let's see. How many people does Dallas Stadium hold? It's only 80,000. It's only 80,000 people. So we got to try again. So I don't know where this biggest is, 82,000. But it can be expanded to 100,000 fans with standing room. Okay. I don't want to stand in something like that long. Cotton Bowl Stadium, 92,000. NRG Stadium, 72,000. Soldier Field, 61,000. American Airlines, 20,000. MetLife Stadium, 82,000. Seems like AJ at times feels uncomfortable in his own skin. I don't know. I think that it's a lot of pressure on him. But yeah, he should have came back and fought here a long time ago. Spotify Stadium. Where's Spotify Stadium? Jermaine Tate. What's up, Kurt? Blessings to you, my brother. Jermaine Tate. Counterpunch to you, bro. Blessings to you as well. Blessings to you as well. Santiago Bernabeu. Is that Bernabeu? Yeah. Bernabeu. Real Madrid home stadium. Michigan Stadium is 107 capacity. Shit, you better be careful. When? You better have that in the summertime. Michigan? Michigan is one of the coldest states in the United States. All that shit up there. Montana, Washington, Michigan, Illinois. Bro, those places are cold. I remember a stunt brother. It was funny as shit. He said, man, I met this chick from Detroit. I was like, yeah? He's like, yeah. We were all riding back in a van going somewhere, doing some stunt or whatever. And he was like, man, I had to leave her alone. I said, why? He said, yeah, man, she was hella fine too. I said, why? What happened? He said, man, she's from Michigan. It was too cold in Michigan. I ain't dating nobody from Michigan. I was like, damn. Like, you heard of a coat? Is she homeless? What the hell? I can't find it, but am sure we have 150K stadiums. I don't know. I mean, I just looked up the biggest, and it was only 80 something. But you have to just do it at Wembley. Yeah. Cam New Barcelona in the stands. 100,000 in the stands. Alan, where's that at? Chicago is the coldest, especially with the wind. Yeah, they call it the Windy City. Yeah, it's cold in Chicago, man. And it's crazy when you're talking about wind velocity and shit like that. Get caught between some buildings, and then that wind catches you, so you're trapped with that wind velocity. Oh yeah, it'll feel like it'll cut your face. Fun fact: when I was 3 years old, I was lost at Chicago Zoo. I was 3 years old and got lost at Chicago Zoo. Well, actually, I didn't get lost. I probably wandered off. Curious George ass, you know what I mean? Peace Stadium, Michigan Stadium, Ann Arbor, Michigan has the biggest stadium in the U.S., 107, 601 seats. Oh, 100,601 seats. Okay. Oh, Barcelona. Okay. Thanks, Alan. But I mean, it's Spain, it's like, okay. Kurt, in your video, you said White didn't fight Chisora yet. The dude beat him twice. What are you talking about? Must have been a typo. Had to be a typo. But that was definitely a mistake. What video was that, so I can take that shit down? Don't let him catch you. But yeah, I know that for a fact. Maybe I meant to say Derek Chisora hasn't fought Moses yet. Or maybe Dillian hasn't fought Moses yet. Bud versus Canelo should be the biggest fight of the year. It should be. More than likely it will be. It will definitely be the biggest fight in America's. Don't tell me that you were that kid that got into the gorilla habitat. Hell no, I ain't that crazy. I just like to venture off because people were moving too slow for me. And I wanted to see shit on my own at 3 years of age. I was pretty much always been like that. Like, I hate lines. I hate drive-thrus. I can't stand drive-thrus. I always go in. I'm that dude in traffic. I'll drive on the shoulder in a traffic jam. I hate lines. Would you be my trainer if I were to fight? I show speed. Mo Hair Daniel. It depends. Are you going to be racing him? Or are you going to be fighting him? Fighting him, yeah, sure. Racing him, no. I show speed. That's a fast little dude, man. And he's young. He's young as shit too. And I'm a quarter horse. I wouldn't race him now. Salute Kurt. Eddie Hearn said that show next fight is either Tyson Fury and Jake Paul. They are both retirement. Right. They are both retirement fights, which means the next for Joshua is the last fight for him. Okay. For what is a man profit if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Jesus loves you. Did Joseph counterpunch to you? North Korea Stadium. Damn. 1st May, 150,000. Clown Kim. That won't happen in North Korea. Trust me. America has the highest attendance record, 135,000 in Milwaukee. Zell versus Pryor. Okay. Milwaukee. Bro, who's going to go to Milwaukee? Nobody's going to Milwaukee. Zell versus Pryor. Aaron the Hulk Pryor, that was a bad boy. I always want to see him fight Leonard, but, you know, it didn't happen. I'm tired of Fury. Parker versus, I don't know. Caballo versus, I don't know. Not enough hotel in Milwaukee. They said no to Tony Yoka. I mean, I don't really care for Tony Yoka in any way. I just hope it's someone better than Tony Yoka. You know what I mean? We can't talk too much shit about Tony Yoka. We don't even know who he selected to fight. Until then we can make the comparison. But like for Tony Yoka, I mean, it's a decent fight, but it might be someone that we do not want to see and we have not heard of. And if that's the case for AJ, we just know it's a tune-up fight. That's all. Hell, Wilder just had one. Wilder got knocked out, too. He got knocked out by Zhilei Zhang. He had a tune-up fight. First it was Curtis Harper, then it was Tyrell Herndon, right? So he just had that fight. AJ got knocked out by Danny Dubois. Okay, now he needs a tune-up fight. So it may not be someone that we know. So just expect it. Okay, so don't get pissed off when it happens, because all of these fighters do it, and I think they should do that now. I think these guys, especially if they've taken some damage or possible cerebral damage, physical damage, possible CTE causing damage, they should have a tune-up fight. And no heavy hitters. None of those bastards that are 40 wins, 12 losses, 38 by KO. Those are the guys you do not want to fight. Those will be the guys that you go in there and you know nothing about and they knock your head off. Needs world supersedes of boxing in the heavyweight, please. Now, super series. I don't think we'll have a super series, a world super series in boxing. I think that the closest is we had to super series in heavyweight boxing, Turkey's already done. So, you know, he's already done that shit. AJ should tune up with Caballo. Yeah, that'll be the fucking day, pulverized. He might get pulverized. AJ should tune up with Caballo. Yeah, I already got that one. Let's see. Why does AJ forget everything he's learned once he's in the ring? I don't know, man. That's a good question, and it's very disappointing, though, to be fair. That's some disappointing shit, because like that Danny Dubois thing, that fight, that should have been a fight. You know what that fight should have been like? The AJ versus Danny Dubois fight should have went like the Danny Dubois versus Kevin Ledena fight. Let me say that again. The AJ versus Danny Dubois fight should have went like the Danny Dubois versus Kevin Ledena fight. It had some scares. It had some, oh shit, did we just see Danny Dubois drop AJ? We should have saw that. Just like, dude, who's this Kevin Ledena dude? He just dropped Danny Dubois. You know? It should have been like that. It should have been like, damn, okay, AJ's back. Oh, shit, AJ caught him. Oh, shit, AJ caught him. He's hurt. Oh, he's down. That should have been like that. It should have been that type of fight. But it should have had some scares, some oohs, some ahs. It should have been like, damn, what are we looking at to, okay, AJ got him now. But damn, boy. Daniel had him hurt. He had us scared for a minute. That's how it should have been. But it wasn't. It wasn't like that. You know? And he just kept getting beat and kept getting hit and kept getting knocked down. And it was almost like, He fought nervous against Dubois. Yeah. Stop the AJ hate over one bad performance. He came in late against Danny Dubois and had no chance to prepare. He is capable of beating Dubois. And after all that, he still rocked Dubois on 1% after 3 knockdowns. Galaxy Edits. Where is the AJ hate? When have you known me to be an AJ hater? Exactly. Muhammad, it's not hate at all. It's a critique. I said that the performance was disappointing. How the fuck is that hate? He didn't have time to prepare. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, it's like someone saying, I'm just ready to fight. If he was ready to fight, he's ready to fight. He just got beat. He got beat by the better guy. And I'm disappointed. Why? Because it is Anthony Joshua. That's why. That's why. I mean, it's not, I'm not hating on AJ. And I think that's what people think. And I guess they thought that I was this guy with fucking pom-poms, with a goddamn skirt, with AJ high school, you know what I mean, on my shirt, jumping up and down, saying, AJ, he's our man. He can't do it. No one can. Fuck that. He got beat. When I saw AJ for the first time, he fought Charles Martin. I saw the face-off, and I'm just like, okay, this is going to be pretty interesting because I know that guy is a golden Olympian. Didn't know nothing about him. Didn't really, you know what I mean? I didn't even see the Brazil fight. I think, did he fight Brazil after or before Charles? But I saw it eventually. But that was the first fight that I saw for the IBF Heavyweight Championship of the world. I also saw the Charles Martin fight, and I saw what happened in that fight when he fought that guy to win the IBF belt. I think Ajaba could take Anderson's place versus Miller. That would be fucking dope. That would actually be better. Jarrell Miller versus Francis Ngannou. Niger. After Brazil was his first title defense. Okay. Triple D had a twisted ankle versus Ladena, and he still KO'd him in the second round. That's what that was? Nah, he got caught with a shot. Daniel Dubois has some soft areas somewhere, bro. Think about it. He got caught with a right. Didn't he get caught with a right hook? Triple D had a twisted knee. Okay, why not AJ versus Effie? Jermaine Tate, why not? I think what'll happen, I think what Efe Ajagba is a guy that you don't want to fight as a comeback. You want to fight as a result. Because, see, Efe Ajagba, though, he only has one loss to Frank Sanchez. He has that opportunity to fight Frank Sanchez again. And because he does, he may be able to right his wrong. And if he's able to right his wrong, he may be back on track. And Efe Ajagba, you know, he can punch. He can punch, and I think what happened, I think to say the least about Martin McCauley was able to take all those shots that he ate. He ate a lot of Efe Ajagba right hands, man. So at least he was able to take it, and then it just shows you the guy that was half-ass in the gym versus a guy that wasn't in the gym at all. So when Parker hit his ass, yeah. When he hit him, bro, he was down. Sanchez will always beat Effie, in my opinion, provided that Sanchez hasn't changed. Well, do you guys think Efe Ajagba's actually improved? Do you think he's improved as a fighter? Sanchez will always... Okay, we got that one. It's almost over for AJ, so he won't be back to America to fight unless it was Wilder. He should fight Wilder in Madison Square Garden, New York City. That's where he should fight Deontay Wilder. Nowhere in the South, in New York. He has, but he's still stiff. I don't think that's going to go anywhere, you know. Efe Ajagba, though, if you think about it, it shouldn't be surprising that he was able to move like he done. Like, you guys do understand that Efe Ajagba was a former soccer player, right? The motherfucker can move. That's all soccer players do is move. Run and sprint and shit. So, yeah, I mean, I think he just used his own ability, what he's already learned. Bro, you look like that British legend Jimmy Savile. I don't know who that is. You think Joe Parker should be next up to fight for a title? And how do you think pay-per-view would look, or how the promotion will do? I think it will be bad because I don't think that people would promote it. I don't think they would promote that fight. I don't. I don't think people would promote that fight at all. AJ versus Wilder. Number 2 or 3 versus number 13 in the era. I ain't interested in that. I still want to see it. Can you talk about the day's fight? Josh Goggins, counterpunch to you. Now, Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney. Good fight. Devin Haney, you know, say what you want about Devin Haney. He's fighting the guys that, you know, even though his last performance was very, very underrated. Not appreciated. I mean, the way he fought like he was still damaged, like he had something going on with him. Brian Norman just knocked a guy out so badly that he's just made a highlight reel. So, of course, based on the momentum, I'm going to go with Brian Norman Jr. Knocking out Haney, but I think Haney's a lot tougher than people give him credit. Because let's face it, people, we at this point, okay, the verdict is in about Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia tested positive for drugs. Therefore, he was doing drugs. There's no defamation. The defamation has been done. He done it himself. He defamated himself by testing positive for that shit. He knew what he was doing. That Ryan Garcia that was in everybody's face, that was talking shit, that was destroying hotel rooms and hallways and all this, that, and the other, that beat the shit out of Devin Haney, versus the one that we saw that was nothing like the guy that we saw before, got his ass whooped. I think we don't talk about that enough, but I think people, the closer you get to people, understand, the closer you get to people, the less shit you can talk. So we can never say that Devin Haney doesn't have a chin. We can't say that Devin Haney didn't take those shots from a guy that was cheating. You know? I think that Devin Haney versus Brian Norman will be a good fight. As long as Devin doesn't do bitch shit like hold and grab and clinch, you know. But here's the weird thing. He's going to have to do that at times. It's not going to be popular, but he's going to have to do it. Oh, yeah, he's going to have to do it because He's going because he's fighting at a weight class he's never fought in. This dude's going from 140 to 147. Those are two different weight classes, bro. Those are totally two different weight classes. 140 pounds to 147 pounds are two totally different weight classes. Haney isn't popular anyway. Nah, he's not. Usyk isn't going to fight Parker for his last fight. Sadly, he wants a big payday like Fury 3 or something. Well, I mean, if he wants someone like Fury just because he wants big fights, that tells you he's not the people's champion. He's the corporate guy. You got to keep it a buck. As good as he may be, and he doesn't want to fight Parker, that says he's a respecter of person. That shows he doesn't respect the belts that he fought so hard to get. If you can fight Daniel Dubois because he was the WBA mandatory, but you can't fight Joseph Parker because he's the WBO mandatory, something wrong with that. And why is it only because Daniel Dubois is British and Joseph Parker's not? He's from a smaller country. Or is he from a smaller country? Australia's not as smaller than the UK. Shit, you could put the UK and Australia 5 or 6 times, no? But population, notoriety, yeah. Devin has a good chin. He should have been KO'd by a guy on PEDs cheating. Haney kept getting up. True warrior. They should have stopped that fight, though. Haney took a lot of punishment from that, and I don't think people recognize that, too. Devin Haney got his ass whooped by Ryan Garcia to a point. I feel that Ryan took it easy. Ryan was a guy that slacked off a bit. He slacked off a bit, and you could tell he did. He could have came in and rushed Devin Haney, and he could have stopped. He could have got Harvey Dock to stop that fight. But I think Harvey Dock himself is a little biased. Get the violins out for Parker. The last guy he beat in his prime was Huey Fury. Okay, whatever. I mean, I don't really give a shit. It's his time now. Just like it was Daniel's time. Or was it Daniel's time? I think Daniel's promoters made it Daniel's time. Daniel had a small reign. From 23? No. From 20, no, was it? Yeah. Yeah. He got beaten 23. Then he won in 23. He went from Usyk to Miller to Hrgovic to Joshua to back to Usyk. And he lost. Parker won't beat Usyk. They both went to the UK, and JP lost to AJ, White, Joyce. While Usyk beat them all, Parker would also beat Fury, but not Usyk. You know, this is what we should have learned by now. Our opinions don't mean anything, and we base our opinions solely on the last performances from other fighters. That's the problem. That's the problem. We think, we take the impact from a fight that a fighter has had, and we just post it over everything that could possibly be done. So I think that's the problem. So do you think it was a tainted supplement, or you think Ryan generally cheated? Well, I mean, he was smoking weed and probably doing coke and all this shit anyway. So he should have failed anyway. Yesterday saw if Usyk Parker isn't happening, then Warren might have a Toma fight Parker. Of Atoma fighting Parker when Atoma wins from White. Yeah, I think if that's the case, I mean, I wouldn't object to that. I just know it's a damn setup, though. Don't you throw me in there with that young, hungry ass bull where you know damn well I fought my way to a point where Moses hasn't fought his way to. Moses beating Dillian White doesn't mean that warrants a fight with Joseph Parker. People need to respect where Joseph Parker's at right now. For people doing that shit, okaying that shit, saying that, hey, go ahead, Moses, go ahead after you beat Dillian, now you can fight Parker. No, because all you're doing is saying Parker doesn't deserve to be where he is. Oh, by the way, why don't you fight the young, light-skinned, fro-wearing Mike Tyson instead? Fuck you. Oh, yeah. That's what I would say. Fuck you. You're not going to have me fight this kid that's 21 years of age, that's knocking everybody senseless, and I've worked my ass off, okay, to get where I'm at. I deserved a shot at the title, but yet you want me to go steps down to fight someone a lot dangerous. Well, I can't say a lot dangerous, but because Usyk is still the man. But you're going to want me to fight someone that low and under just so he can take my place and put me on the same level as him. Because you don't want me to fight the top guy based on your bullshit politics? No way. Absolutely not. This steroid up version of Usyk with power will KO Parker. Nah, bro. Stop. Stop that shit. That's not the case. Don't get like Fanon. Quan Big Guns. Don't get like Fanon. The armchair corner man. I miss your alarm beeping. Usyk not on steroids. I mean, that's just, see, that's that shit. Oh, yeah, he's on steroids because no. People don't believe in hard work and dedication no more. People don't believe in hard work and dedication no more. That's the problem. People don't believe in it. They're just like, well, it's like, yeah, it's on steroids. No, you can just train harder. Imagine you work like the dick. I'm glad that Terrence is suing Fanon. Fanon needs to be shut the fuck up. He needs to be muzzled. Because, I'm not really sure if he doesn't suffer from some type of mental illness. Crawford not on PEDs either, they lie. They're doing that, bro. Now it's Usyk on PEDs. First Terrence Crawford, then Usyk. They didn't like Terrence Crawford, a lot of people. And I could say this for a fact, and this is no cap. There have been channels that have disdain or dislike for Terrence Crawford because of his skin color. Not the color of his skin color. Because these weren't non-black channels. Terrence Crawford's not marketable because he's dark-skinned. That was the remark. What? Okay. Parker needs to drop 25 pounds to stand a chance against Usyk. Not unless he knocks him out. But he does need to lose weight. I do agree. He needs to lose some damn weight. Kurt, what happens to Top Rank now that ESPN dropped them? They'll go somewhere. They're looking for other carriers, so we'll see. Only time will tell with them. I have no idea what they're going to do. People, for some reason, can't accept someone else doing good in life, and they try to put them down. It's weird. Usyk isn't on steroids. I mean, it's. I don't get why people are hating on the best fighters in the world. What is the disdain for the pound for pound best fighters in the world? And you know something has been like that for a long time. They used to do that to Lomachenko. Lomachenko used to get so much hate. And I didn't understand why he got the hate that he got. It's just weird. Like you know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't understand it. You know, like, I just could not understand that. I think Caballero can win Usyk now because Caballero has a high work rate. Not drinking, not smoking, great sport life for a boxer. Alex, absolutely. You can't do any of that shit and still think you can compete at a certain level. I think that's Tyson Fury's problem. Tyson Fury thinks that he can do a 4 bit of coke here and there, drink like a fish, rave the bar, then get in the gym, then complain, then train, then go out there and do his thing. No, he's not going to be the same. Bars. Why is Fury still ranked by Ring Magazine even though he's retired? Because they don't want him to go anywhere. They still hope that he's going to change his mind. That's all. Fury fans now reduced to claiming Usyk is doping. Yep. Nah, he's a doper. He's doping. That's what he's doing. He's doping. He's on drugs. That's what it is. You know, to be fair, Tyson Fury did say that Usyk was doping. He's going to go away and become a big little man. He's going to be strong again when he goes away. Remember that? I do. Why is Atoma ranked number 1 WBO? Who did he beat for that? No one. That's the manipulations of the rankings. Pulverize. That's why. You know, you keep recycling these fucking fighters where you don't have anyone. See, the people that actually deserve to be here are not being recognized of being there. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I mean? They're just not the same. They just don't, you know, some people, if you beat everyone, even when you have an undefeated record, doesn't mean you beat the right people to get where you are. You're where you are based on politics. You're where you are based on who your promotional company is, who your promoter is, what your promoter did for you. That's how you get where you're getting. Unfortunately, that's boxing. The sport that I love, that I hate so much, that's boxing. It's boxing right there. Because what happens is a lot of these guys, they get the ticket. You're going to get the title shot, kid. Don't worry. Keep fighting. Do you think they're getting the title shot from beating every contender? This ain't the fucking 50s or the 40s. And then normally this is what happens when you do have rankings that actually they followed. The guy that fought his way all the way to ranking 6, he had to beat 7, then 8, then 9, then 10 to get to 6, right? Okay, what happens when he probably gets to 2? He gets beat. He goes back in the line. That's what happens. That's why man, I almost had a title fight until I fought the number 3. I was number 4. And the number 3 caught me with a shot and chinned me and knocked me out. I never got to fight for the title. So imagine how hard it was and competitive it was to fight for the title. Because you had to fight to get there. By the time you get to the number 1 ranked contender, you have been fighting like a motherfucker. You think about the amount of fights you had to get back in the day when shit was real. Real. You had to fight like the Dickens to get where you are to the number 1 ranked. You become the number 1 ranked, bro. That's a big deal. Because a lot of times they didn't have a good promoter. They had some kind of slime ball that talked good. Here's my fighter. My fighter's the best. Jersey Joe Wilkinson. He's the best. All right. How was Dave Allen and Johnny Fisher ranked number 15? Ranks are corrupted. They are. If you were a heavyweight in the old days, you were looking at being knocked down at least twice per fight. Yeah. All in America, baby. Yeah, man. So it is what it is. And, you know, what really fast-tracked a lot of people, needless to say, are the Olympics. Oh, yeah, the Olympics. George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, Floyd Patterson. What do those guys have in common? They're all golden Olympians. But what did it mean? It mean it was a fast track. The right type of promoters, right? The right type of fights, the right type of opportunities, you know. So it is what it is. I think White Atoma will be one of the best fights of the year. I hope so. I hope that fight is banging. I hope it's the type of fight that if Dillian loses this fight, I hope it's the type of fight that makes you respect Dillian White like we respected Deontay Wilder in the trilogy fight against Tyson Fury. That's the type of fight that I want it to be. You see what I mean? I think it's that type of fight I think that we should have, you know, because it's like if Dillian White, let's say Dillian White drops Atoma and everybody's like, oh shit, because you know what's going to happen, right? If Dillian White puts up a hell of a fight against Moses Atoma, win or lose, see if he wins, they'll probably offer him a lot of money to fight him again. If he loses, but it's debatable, they're going to want to have another fight again. And then they're going to have to pay Dillian White money. And then Dillian White could then be, everybody's going to be back on the body snatcher wagon. Because he has a very few amount of people on his bandwagon right now, people, believe it or not. A lot of people don't talk about Dillian White like they used to. Imagine 6-7 years ago. Views don't lie, people. You guys tell me what you like based on what you see. It ain't all YouTube's fault. Sometimes you see a fucking video, like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about Dillian. So you don't watch the Dillian White video. Same thing happened for AJ. A lot of people don't want to see AJ right now. AJ ain't done enough right now. He hasn't fought. So he's inactive. So out of sight is out of mind in boxing. You guys know that. You show me that all the time with each and every video. Right? You guys watch it based on your interest of watching it. That reflects the views. Caballero is a real body snatcher. He is a body snatcher. Heavyweight division, a bit stale. Not many new fights being made. No, not right now. Caballero good, but Usyk still beats him. We'll see. It doesn't. See, this is what I'm sick of in boxing. I'm sick of people saying, Usyk still beats him, so why fight him? Type shit. You guys actually thought Danny Dubois was going to beat Usyk. A lot of motherfuckers did. And that's the only reason they wanted to fight him. They wanted to see that fight. I think heart is no hesitation in body movement. Yep. Recency biased. You're only good as your last fight. Yep. That doesn't mean the next fight is promised victory. And people do that shit. People are still on that. Man, no, Usyk beats everyone, so why fight anyone? They did the same shit for Tyson Fury. They did the same shit for Canelo Alvarez. They did that shit so long until that fighter gets beat now, didn't he? And really, what happens when that happens? They get beat. Then you're like, oh, no. No, asshole. What? No, jackass. What happens then? Yeah, he got beat, so. But according to people, it's like a fighter, he beat enough ass so he doesn't have to fight anyone dangerous. That's bullshit. That's always been backwards to me. He said, hell no, I didn't. I knew Usyk would beat the brainless goon Triple D. Dave Allen versus Mark Madoff will be decent, though. Is it on the same card? I don't know. No, they're fighting him. This one is, I think, on the 22nd. I think they're fighting like on the week before. So November is going to be lit, people. Caballero has a higher workout than the out of prime Usyk. So there is a huge chance Caballero defeats Usyk. Well, I think if they're smart, and I think if they're concerned, I think that they will want Caballero to take over the division and when Usyk steps down. See, call me crazy. I think Usyk won't fight Caballero because I think Usyk is expecting Caballero to be the next coming. You know why I say that? Because I've seen Usyk do something that he's never done. He crowned Caballero the WBC interim heavyweight champion. And it made me wonder when I saw that. It could be a form of symbolism. I think him doing that to Caballero, he's looking at Caballero to be the next him. Humble, holy man, you know? Family man. Not really a big trash talker. He's okay in his own right. But I think he's looking for someone to supersede him. So that's what I think. But no, man, this fight card is going to be absolutely lit. And you look at the fights that probably would be the best. This is 6 fights, bro. David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. Brian Norman versus Devin Haney. Abdullah Mason versus whatever his first name is, Noakes. Bam Bam Rodriguez versus Martinez. Matias versus Smith. And Arturo Beterbiev versus Nicholson. We know very little about Nicholson. Dion Nicholson. One loss to Abuchi, right? And I don't know who that is. I've never seen him fight. So it's a very little we know about him. What's next for Wilder? We'll see. I got videos coming after this, guys. I'm going to wait a couple hours and let people look at the live. So stay tuned for a couple of those. The rest will be coming out tomorrow. Because I have about 7 videos to post for you guys. So stay tuned for that. This fight card is going to be lit. It is lit. I hope it stays intact. Because this fight card, I think, and I hope it goes the way it should go. Because you know how people pull out, injury, scared, whatever. I don't want to see any of that shit. Dubois had begun suffering a mental meltdown right from the face-off with Usyk when he shoved Usyk. I don't know. I wonder if he'd have pulled that shit with AJ. Don't. Daniel, don't. I'll break your face. Don't. Respect me, Daniel. Daniel, respect me. But guys, I will be back live possibly Saturday or Sunday. And until then, love you guys. Be good. Enjoy your Friday. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.